Hey guys, so I hope you're continuing to do well, continuing to stay positive and use this time wisely. Most of us, um, back to almost normal, if not completely normal. I know coronavirus has kind of settled down. Other things have started to stir up with these riots and protests and things. And now it's like coronavirus is all over the news again because supposedly there's more cases now. The states are opening back up. But through all this, it's just important to keep a focused mind, a calm mind. Focus on the things that really matter, your relationship with God, because if you're keeping that strong, you're going to get through anything the world throws at you. If you're firm with God, you really can't fail because you're relying on Him. But today I want to talk about something that, once again, I feel is important to us, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to start reading some scripture. So I'm going to read out of 1 Samuel chapter 8, and I'm going to read verse 5. And so Samuel's getting old, and the elders are coming up to him, and this is what they say. They said to him, "You are old, and your sons do not follow your ways. Now appoint a king to lead us, such as all the other nations have." All the other nations have. We want that. We want to be like them. Verse 6, "But when they said, 'Give us a king to lead us,' this displeased Samuel. So he prayed to the Lord, and the Lord told him, 'Listen to all that the people are saying to you. It is not you they have rejected, but they have rejected me as their king, as they have done from the day I brought them up out of Egypt until this day, forsaking me and serving other gods, so they are doing to you. Now listen to them, but warn them solemnly, and let them know what the king who will reign over them will claim as his rights.'" So Samuel goes and he reiterates this to them, and he goes on to anoint Saul as king, and Saul becomes king of Israel. And it's what they wanted, right? The people said, we want a king to rule over us. We're done. You're getting old. Your sons don't exactly follow your ways. We want a king to rule over us. And from a surface level, it makes sense. They want someone to be in charge, right? But the reality of it was they had God as their king. God ruled over them. He took care of them. And you read all the stories and what He's brought them out of and brought them through. They have no reason not to trust God. Yet at the same time, their flesh wanted a strong ruler to reside over them and to represent their nation. So that's what their flesh wanted. And it's important, that parallels us in so many ways, especially, at any age. You want to be, there's some things that we don't experience as Christians that the world gets to enjoy in their flesh, right? And these people, the Israelites, they wanted a king, and that was their flesh desiring a ruler, because they didn't want to submit to God. They didn't want to rely on God. But it's just important to apply that to our life. Are we chasing after things of the flesh even when we are told directly? Samuel laid it out to them. God was your king, but now you're gonna have a man rule over you. And when you read the Bible, almost every king had some type of flaw, right? When the reality of it was, if they would have let God continue to be their king, God is flawless, God is perfect. They still made mistakes, but the body that was in charge of them, whether it be God or a king, a king is flawed, God is perfect. So they really downgraded based on their own desires, and they might have been happy temporarily, but in reality, I'm sure if they could look back, they would probably regret their decision, because hindsight's always 20/20. But they would have, I think most of them would have admitted that God was the best ruler that they ever had. And God never left them, but God moved from that king position. And it's just important for us, like, are we letting God rule over us, or are we taking it upon ourselves to make ourselves happy instead of relying on Him? I feel like all these lessons circle back to a reliance on God over the things in the world, and that's just, especially in this day and age, 2020, it's easy for us to chase things that give us short-term temporary pleasure, that make us happy in the moment but cost us something in the long run. And nothing's more valuable to me than my eternity, my relationship with God, where I end up after I die or He comes back. I don't want to do anything that's going to risk that. So it's important to just put those things into perspective. When you're thinking about doing one thing and you think, well, maybe I shouldn't do this because it contradicts with my relationship with God, or it puts Him second, instead of keeping God first. this kind of puts God on the back burner. Maybe I shouldn't do this, or maybe I should do it in moderation instead of going all in. And it's just so many different things in our life, so many different situations we find ourselves in. We're presented with this choice almost on a daily basis, and it's just important to weigh it out every time you come to this. Is this worth sacrificing time, sacrificing relationship with God? And the answer is always going to be no. Nothing's worth taking time away from God. But yeah, just weigh out that in your mind as you make decisions day to day. If you're reminding yourself of that, you're going to find yourself a lot better off in the long run.